if you're speaking negativity, your subconscious mind is going to be running negativity for you. It's going to be every time something good comes for you, your subconscious mind is going to then ruin it for you as told, as directed by your conscious mind.
You are listening to Anxious for Nothing with Bimpe, where together we overcome struggles with people pleasing and perfectionism so that we can truly value ourselves and create time to progress in all areas of our lives. I'll be sharing with you my personal experience using agile IT systems for prioritization, especially when family, work, life, health, finances and our faith all collide into one. And most importantly, how to affirm our faith and identity in Christ during the storm, not just after it passes. Join me. This is time management like you've never known it before. Let's get started.
Hi, I'm Bimpe. Welcome to Anxious for Nothing. And today I am going to go with you through my 3-month review that I do every 3 months to go through what I have done in the last 3 months, what's worked, what's not worked. So today we're going to do a retro with you. And as you know, if you've been following me for a while, I use the agile principles in my life. I've been following these principles for the last 5 years and they've been working for me like a treat. So I want to share that with you in today's podcast. So I am driving on my way to my church conference today and I thought, you know what, let me just chat to you guys as I'm driving, as you would driving with your friend next to you in the car. Just talk about, how my last 3 months has went, what has worked, what hasn't worked. At the beginning of the year, we went through our requirements, talked about our requirements for the year, and we set that to set our vision so we can have a new you by the end of 2026. So come December 2026, you are looking back, ready to go into 2027, thinking, yes, all the things that I set at the beginning of the year, I have met them. So what we're going to do is, it's a quarter through the year, we're going to take a stop break on what has worked, what hasn't worked, so that we can catch ourselves in the midst of things. So what happens is if you don't take time to stop and pause, you just find yourself like repeating, doing the same thing. And you might be doing something that is not actually moving you forward, or you might be doing something that is just like no longer relevant or no longer needed. So like, for example, now I've realized that I need to incorporate more of AI into my everyday work and my workings. Like I can't continue doing things the way that I was doing before. So when I was doing my retro, I sort of like stopped and looked into that. And I was like, okay, what are the activities that I'm doing over and over and over again? And how can I get smart about it? How can I leverage AI? So I've been looking at so many things on that at the minute. So if you've been following me for some time from back to my YouTube days, you will know that I am a big fan of Trello. Oh my gosh, I love Trello. Trello has been my life. So if you've read the book, Tiago Fontaine's Building a Second Brain, I use Trello. I was using Trello like my second brain, but I didn't know that I was doing it that way. But what Tiago Fontaine does is he gives you like structure to that. So he uses this thing called code. And so that's when you capture the information, you organize it through a system he calls Para. And then the D and the E, I can't remember, but the E is to do with executing it. And I can't remember what the D stands for, but I will get back to that in a minute. But that's the structure he gives around how we should put together our second brain. So I realized that like, okay, I need to use AI more in my day-to-day life, like, because I'm like using several apps to do several different things. And I just need a place that keeps it all in one. So I'm going to come off here at this exit. So I need a place that helps me keep it all in one. So for example, for my finances, I am going into my Google documents, and then I'm in my chat with Claude, and I'm in my chat with ChatGPT, doing various things for my travel business and also for this podcast for Anxious for Nothing. I've been finding that really effective. So, and I'm thinking, okay, when I have my chats with Claude, I get the answers, I copy it and paste it into my Trello for me to execute it. And then when it's time for me to execute it, I'm fine. Like I'm going through all my Trello, going through different things, going through different lists, and I'm just feeling kind of like really disorganized about it. So I thought, you know what? I need to level up. Okay, my Trello needs leveling up. And so I've been looking into like what's happening at the minute in the market, and everyone is talking about building a a life operating system. And I like this. I love the thought of that. I thought, okay, because Trello is basically me trying to have me having actually everything in one place. And so when I do my bi-weekly planning, I can see everything that goes on in my life, in all areas of my life, my finances, my business, my personal life, my work life, my house life, the kids, the boys, the marriage, church, everything all in one. And I can just pick, okay, this is what's happening in church this week. So I need to be at a conference, for example, today. Last week, I was at the travel conference for my travel business, and it was so amazing. So I want something like that, but it needs to be all together in one place, all kind of like interjected. So that's one area that I found needs a lot of work on with as part of this retro. And then, so that's the overall. And then another area that I sort of like looked into, like I found that I am being very consistent with my Bible study, which I'm loving. I'm currently on day 54 as we speak right now, which is really good. I started at the beginning of the year with one Bible study guide, and my spirit was just rejecting it. Every time I would come onto it, my spirit was just rejecting it. And I found that I was starting to become inconsistent because my spirit was just like, we can't take this anymore. Leave it. So that's one thing I've learned, like listen to your spirit, listen to God. Don't try and force something in that isn't working. So that's one area that I've learned from and I've reflected in. And then other things that I've picked up on throughout this period is millionaire mindset. Get excited with the whole idea of being bored. So in areas of my finances, some of you may have known, or I don't know, I'll say it again. I talked about in my previous podcast about how your finances really do need to align with your vision and your goal for your life. So for example, if your vision is to scale in your office, go for the next promotion, be ready. What your finances needs to support that. So if that means buying a course or paying for a tutor, going to this conference, networking, your finance needs to support that. You need to make sure that there's an allocation in your finance to support that and to prioritize that. So one of the things that I've had as a priority in my finance is to invest. So when my mum died, one of the things I thought really quickly was I need to get onto this investment thing. I need to know how to do this investment. I want my money to be making money for me. So should it happen that, I have to stop working or I choose to stop working, I will not go broke. So you've heard me say this rhetoric so many times, same thing. So it's also the reason why I started a travel business as well. So with my finances, I realized that by doing the same boring thing over and over and over again, I've been seeing dividends. So for example, I did the course in 2023, learned how to buy REITs and learned how to invest, understood the whole thing, with the stock market going up and down. I used to get really, really, really scared, but like now I understand how it works. I'm not scared anymore. And I just laugh. Like, for example, you guys must really look at me and be freak out. Like my shares dropped by $1,000 like the other day. And I'm looking at it and I'm not scared. I'm not bothered. Why? Because I understand the system. I know it's going to pick up. I know I'm doing it in for the long term. Whereas before, I would have seen that and I would have freaked out because I was like, whoa, that money I just put in now, 2 weeks ago has dropped. It has become nothing. That would have really, really freaked me out. But now going forward, I know that isn't a worry for me. So because I've put a strategy in place and I'm consistent with that strategy, I'm so consistent with it that it has now become boring. And I feel like boring is good. Oh, look at this bus. Is this bus going to allow me to pass? Is it going to just try and squash me? London buses, hey? These big red bus. Okay, it's gone past now. Now this other car is trying to take advantage. Okay, let me get back to where I was. Yeah, so I was talking about my investments. So do a retro of my investments. Yeah. So I stopped and did a review and I realized that everything was going on as planned. But then I realized that I had forgot to top up my LISA. So here in the UK, the government gives you 25% of whatever you put into your LISA, which is called a lifetime LISA. You can use that towards a house or you can use it towards retirement. I've already bought a house, so I'm using mine towards retirement. And I realized that I had not maxed it out. And, I was like, girl, I need to max this out because that's money on the table. Having that review enabled me to catch that, because had I not done that review, it would have gone past the 5th of April. So we have until the 5th of April every year to max out our license. Like today is the 21st. Sorry, today's the 21st of March as I'm recording this and I'm doing my retro. It would have gotten to like the 5th of April and I would have been like, oh no, I didn't max it out. And that's money left on the table. So doing these retros are really, really good. So off the back of that, I was able to do a formula spreadsheet in place that enabled me to project how much dividends I'm going to be getting at the end of the year, which is really good because like the strategy I've put in place is I want my stocks and shares that I'm paying into every month to get to a point where it's giving me up to $4,000 in dividends that I will use to now pay for my LISA. So instead of me using my money from my salary to pay into the LISA, I just use the money that the dividends is doing to pay into the LISA. So that's freeing up my cash, freeing up my money as well, which is really good. Yep. So that's the review I did there with my finances. So next, personal development. So on my personal development list, I had the Bible study, which I've talked about, and I had reading. I wanted to have completed 2 books by now. I started on my 2nd book. I've completed the 1st book. The 1st book I read was The Power of the Unconscious Mind. Oh my gosh, this book is really good. I love this book. I will recommend it to you. I'll put the book details in the show notes. So it just talks about, actually, what I really found interesting about this book was just how it relates to the Bible. Like it really does list so many things from the Bible. So it's a nice refresher about, how a man thinketh, so he is. So, you need to watch what you're thinking, watch what you're saying, watch what you're speaking over to your life, because it talks about how your subconscious mind is a part of your mind, part of your brain that kind of like does things automatically. And it is controlled and ruled by your conscious mind. So what are you consciously saying to yourself all the time? Your subconscious mind is picking that up and running with it. So if you're speaking negativity, your subconscious mind is going to be running negativity for you. It's going to be every time something good comes for you, your subconscious mind is going to then ruin it for you as told, as directed by your conscious mind, because you keep on saying stuff like, oh, it never works. So when something good comes to you and it can work, it will work, your subconscious mind will find a way to get you to make it not work. It will work against you. And when I heard that, I was like, Lord Jesus, that's not my portion. So every time I'm speaking to people now, my friends would have noticed it by now, I'm catching them. Every time they say something like negative, I'm catching them. I am flipping it. I'm telling it around. Like the other day, my husband was like, this thing is hard or it's hard. I was like, no, it'll be easy in Jesus' name. I know it's challenging, but it is not hard. You will be given the skills, the systems, the people, and the information, everything you need so that you can be successful at this thing that you're going through. I mean, like, anything new is always going to be a challenge because your brain is being stretched. And that is normal and that is right. But don't start telling yourself it's hard. Tell yourself, okay, I've not caught it yet. Okay, my brain is learning. Okay, I'm getting better. Okay, I'm being stretched, Because if you're saying stuff like, oh my gosh, this thing is hard, then trust me, your body, your subconscious mind, it will make ways to fulfill your desires, to fulfill, the words that you've spoken into your life to make it hard, yeah? So that's the books that I read. That's personal development. What's the next thing? The next thing, leisure. So on leisure, one of the things I wanted to do is to make sure that I am meeting up with friends regularly, calling at least one friend every week, which I have been doing. Shout out to my friend Zalika Ministry. So I've been calling her. And also another thing that I had was to have meetings, catch-ups, which I've been doing. I've been networking. Me that don't like to network. I did some networking this first quarter. I went to 2 networking events. One was at my upline manager's house for the travel business, and another one was the actual conference for the travel business. And then I met up with a couple of friends for coffee, which was really nice. So I've been getting out, went out with some of my old besties for dinner. which was nice. And I met up with some of my old work colleagues from my previous old organization again for dinner as well. So that area is good. I'm really pleased about that, because one of the reasons why I started this whole podcast and started this book, it was born out of the idea of my life previously was just work, church, family, kids, work, church, family, kids. I remember it was nearly like 18 months and I hadn't met up with my friends at all. And I remember my hairdresser saying to me, like, I'm getting to a certain age now where I should start reconnecting with my friends. So I needed to make sure that I prioritize it and put time in to make sure that these things happened. So that's one thing that I did in terms of my leisure. And I have booked for the next quarter, I'm booking a spa with my husband. It's going to be our 18 years anniversary in April. So I've booked a spa for the two of us to go and relax and chill. So that's the spa area of my life.
As a boy mum of three, working full time, running a household, and holding an elder position in church, I used to treat rest as a reward, something I earned after exhaustion. Now I prioritize rest like it's a bill I have to pay. This means intentionally scheduling trips, spa, holidays, and real downtime. One way I've done this is by becoming a home-based travel agent, allowing me to stretch my budget and earn commission on trips I was already taking. You can absolutely do this and start traveling smarter. If this is something you're curious about, connect with me on Instagram at Mrs. Ajala Travels. This could be a great opportunity for you and your loved ones. That's Mrs. Ajala, Ajala Travels on Instagram.
Trying to think, what are the other areas? Work. Okay, yes, work. So work has been going really well, actually. So I set myself the goal, because I'm a product owner, I'm a finance systems product owner, and I set myself the goal of understanding all the integrations. I want to know what is coming in and coming out of my system that I'm managing. You know, what systems are collecting data? How are those systems connected to my system? What are they feeding it? What am I feeding it? What is it feeding us into our system? So I've got that, which is really good. The next thing I want to do is like really deep dive into the various modules. So I'm familiar with some of the modules, but not all of them. But I want to get much better at the various modules within my finance system. So look at me. God is so wonderful. I don't have a finance background. I have to say I have a project management background turned agile, but I have a love for finance. I like organizing and planning my finances. So I have a natural interest in that. So when I was the scrum master for the finance product team. And then when the business were like, look, we need a product owner for this, and they put me forward, that's just the grace of God, because I don't have a finance background. I don't have an accounting background, but I've been learning lots. So just because, you've been given that grace to do something that, okay, you don't necessarily have the qualifications for, doesn't mean that you should sit around and rest on your laurels. Grace got you through the door, which is good. Use grace again to make sure that you stay and be in that place as well. So that's work. What else is there? We've done spiritual and personal development. We've done work. We've done leisure and activities. We've done the business. We've done finances. And then community. Yes. So I'm on my way to the church conference today. So that's one of the things I'm doing for community. And also in April this year, I'm going to be doing a session with the church, just helping them understand the school system here in the UK, helping mothers here understand like how the whole thing works, and really encourage them to really talk to their children and change that rhetoric or that old mentality that we have, that like the teacher's always right and, listen to your teacher, which, yes, you should listen to your teacher, but sometimes like there's conflict between the teacher and the child. Like, for example, one of the teachers marked my son down, and I was like, why? Why would you do this? He got a really high mark for his mock, and he predicted him a lower mark for his actual GCSE. And I was like, Kilo de, what's happening here? Like, hey, so when you understand the system and understand how it works, you can take time to pick up on little things like this, pick up on little frustrations like this, so that your child knows that you've got their back. Like what I would always say is, even if your child is in the wrong, in front of the teacher, be on your child's side. support your child, yeah? But when you get home, you you collect their ear and you talk to them. You understand? You talk to them and you correct them. But in front of the teacher, your child needs to know and feel supported. Because what's happening now is like that your child is not feeling any support with the teachers because your child feels like this teacher doesn't like me. This teacher is against me. Yeah. The child gets home and talks to you, wants to confide in you, and finds out you too are against them. You too are blaming them. You too are supporting the teacher. You're not taking time to understand your child or understand what is going on. So who's your child going to go to? Tell me. They can't go to the teacher. They can't go to you. Who are they going to go to? They're going to go to their friends. What do their friends know? They don't know nothing. Their friends can't help them. And you just got to pray by the grace of God that the friends that they're with, that they're trying to find identity, trying to find community with, are Christian, good, supportive friends that ain't going to lead them astray, So that's one thing that I did in community. And I think that's all the areas, actually. I can't think of anything else because I'm just going through this. I'm doing this as led by the Spirit of God, if I'm totally honest with you. I was just driving to the conference and the Lord was like, let's use this time effectively to chat to our people. Let's chat to our anxious for nothings and see what they're up to and, encourage them and do the retro live as I'm driving. So all is well. I'm in Lewisham. No, I'm not in Lewisham. Where am I? I am driving through right now New Cross, my old uni, Goldsmiths. Just drove past my old uni, Goldsmiths. So yeah, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for listening. Just to wrap up, what is a retro? A retro is going through what you've done over the last 3 months. We're going to reflect what worked, what didn't work, what can you do better, what you're going to stop and what you're going to catch. So for me, I've learned that I can do better with my organizing system, my Trello. I need to find ways to level up my Trello and find ways to use AI to save me time and to use AI to do all of those repetitive tasks that I'm constantly doing, like get an agent to help me do all of those repetitive tasks. Like, for example, my podcast, I'll record it now. I'll get the agent to turn it into a LinkedIn post and turn it into a carousel for IG and find short parts, sound bites within this podcast to use as a reel. That's the thing I need to start doing. And one thing I'm going to continue doing is continue with my move it out of the way for a ambulance. Okay, the ambulance is gone. So one thing I'm going to continue doing is continue with my routine. So one of the things that I established was a routine and time blocks, and that's been working really well. So I'm going to continue with that. And what am I going to stop doing? One thing I think I need to stop doing. I need to think about that. I need to think. Let me think. What am I going to stop doing? What hasn't worked that I need to stop doing? Oh, I've got it now. I've got it now. I need to stop switching things up, especially when I feel as if, okay, I've not got the results that I expected. I need to learn to stay still and be consistent. I have to say, the word that God has been giving me throughout this whole first 3 months, full quarter of this year is consistency, 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 consistency. That is what I'm hearing everywhere. Just keep doing what you're doing. Stop trying to switch it up. Stop trying to change it up. Just keep doing what you keep doing. Right now, you are building trust. You are building identity. You are building authority. And that takes time. So that's what the Spirit has been saying to me. Because I keep switching things up. I'll be like, oh, okay, I've been doing this for a month now. Okay, it's not working yet. Okay, let me do this. Let me do that. No, stop changing your bio. I've developed a strategy, a content strategy. I've got the problem that I'm going to solve for that one person, that one situation that they're in. And I've got that one solution for them. I'm going to stick with that and be consistent. So that's it. Be consistent and get excited with getting bored, because that is the millionaire mindset. Thank you so much for your time, Anxious for Nothing. And if you are new, Please subscribe and share this episode with your friends and family, those you feel that will benefit from it. And if you've been listening to me for some time and you've not subscribed, please subscribe. This will help so many other people, help others know that, this stuff that I'm sharing is good and is beneficial to others. So please subscribe and share this episode with your friends and family. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Have an amazing day. God bless. And remember, you are anxious for nothing.
You want guilt-free time for yourself without sacrificing your peace of mind. I've been there and I get it. Visit www.anxiousfornothing.kit.com and get my free prioritization guide designed to help you create more time for what truly matters without sacrificing family, work, or your values. I want us to experience what it truly means to be anxious for nothing with more time, less pressure, and freedom from people pleasing. That's anxiousfornothing.kit.com for your free guide. Thank you for listening. I'm Bimpe. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Remember, you are anxious for nothing, and when you win, everyone wins.